Hey everyone, Chelsea here from So Simple Home. Today we're going to make a fun little fabric snake. This is a project that is really great for kids. In fact, this is what my kids made for some of their cousins last Christmas. So these are really fast, really simple. So we're just going to bust one out, show you how it's done, and then you and your kids can make your own. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is actually make the tongue of our snake. And this is really easy, and you can do it in whatever style you want. But we kind of like to do it kind of in a fork. So we'll come up here and make kind of a Y shape with our tongue. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it's a snake. So it's kind of this little Y shape. You can see that right here. And you can make it pointed. So see how this one is like pointed. We're just going to leave it like this. All right, the next thing we're going to do is take our material and we're going to fold it right sides together with the long side this way. Okay, our tongue is going to fit right in between the layers at the top here. And when we stitch, we're going to stitch across the small section and then all the way down the long side. All right, let's get it in our machine. We're going to stitch at 1/4 inch seam allowance. And if you want to, you can stitch over your tongue twice. So you can back stitch over it. Now we're going to go down the long side. Looks like I ran out of thread. Actually. All right, let me turn it. And as you go, just make sure you match the two raw edges together. Okay, at the end we back stitch and then we take cut all our threads. All right, next part is pretty easy, but we're going to clip our edge here. We're going to clip our edge over here. All right, once these edges are clipped, I like to make the face a little bit more plush, I guess you could say. So we actually are going to box out our corners. And to do that, it's really easy. We're going to open up our snake. So it's kind of like this at the top. And we're going to make like a triangle in the corner here. And we're going to stitch that triangle. And it's just at 1/4 inch, so it's not a big triangle. Oops, my thread came out. We're going to back stitch, go across, and back stitch. So it's just a small little boxed corner. You kind of see that there? We're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, make it into a triangle. Just at 1/4 inch, box it out, cut our threads. And that's going to make it so that our face is more boxy like this one. All right, now we have to turn it right side out. And that can be a hard part. If you have someone who has really small hands, my 6-year-old has really small hands, and usually he's very good at turning these snakes right side out because he can just slide his whole hand in there. But we're just going to pull all of the snake onto our finger here until we get to the tongue. And we're going to find that tongue and hang on to it and pull them inside out, or right side out, I guess I should say. Okay, it's a nice long tongue. Okay, and there you can kind of see that boxy face that we were talking about earlier. It's going to be a good snake. Okay, now's the hard part. You got to stuff the thing with some type of polyfiber fill. Now, if you don't have polyfiber fill, you can use old fabric scraps. If you don't have old fabric scraps, you could use, you could upcycle a stuffed animal. You go to the thrift store and purchase an old stuffed animal, or if you have your own stuffed animal, that works. But you gotta stuff them. And you don't have to stuff him too intensely, but it does take a little bit to get him stuffed. And I would suggest getting some type of wooden dowel. If you have a really long snake, like we have here, you can get a longer dowel, and that'll help get the fluff down farther in the snake, because you want to stuff them as far down as you can. Get as much fluff as far down as you can in the beginning, so it doesn't look like your snake ate an egg. All right, we have reached the end. We're just stuffing the last little bit right here at the end, pulling off the extras. So when you get to the end, a long snake, huh? When you get to the end, you want to stuff it enough that you can have a tail here, a long enough tail, but you need to be able to turn the raw edge in like this. See how we did that? Okay, so we got our raw edge turned inside, and I'm just going to start where my seam is and stitch across. So I'm just going to put it on my sewing machine, forward and back stitch, all the way across, forward and back stitch, and that closes off my snake so that all the stuffing fluff inside doesn't escape. You still got some fluff on him. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, now that he's sealed, is I can kind of move that fluff around a little bit with my hand. I can kind of shape him a little bit, and that will just help kind of move the fluff so that he can kind of keep whatever shape I want to give him. Okay, I'm still going to be picking fluff off. I've got to get a lint roller. Okay, so there's his front and there's his back. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could shape the back like into like a triangle like this or something. You know, you could give it a different shape than the just squaring it, but that's up to you. Like I said, this is an easy project, so we're just trying to take it super simple. All right, we are going to do the eyeballs now. And the eyeballs, we're using 2 buttons, just 2 black buttons. You could do different color buttons. On my other snake, on this one, we did black my son did a snake the same color and did yellow buttons, and those eyes turned out really neat. So you could try some different colors. Now, also you can try different places to put your eyeballs. You could put them in the middle like this, or you can put them farther apart like this. And that just gives it kind of a different look. Same project, same snake, just a different look on the eyes.
Can it be orange eyeballs?
I don't have orange. All right, I just have a little bit of thread here on a bobbin that I'm just gonna pull off. And we're gonna thread a needle. And you can use a fat needle, that is just fine. If that helps a little person stitch. So this is also a nice project for a small person if you want them to stitch the eyes on. Great, to stitch the eyes, I'm going to put my eyes in the two corners so we can kind of see the difference. I'm just going to go up through with my needle and thread. I'm going to cut that thread just a little shorter. And then I'm going to take my eyeball or button, go through one hole and down through the other hole. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to do that a couple of times, making sure I go through my material all the time to help those buttons stay. Now, if you have a very small child, I would not suggest using buttons, especially because they're so tiny they can be a choking hazard. So you can actually buy stuffed animal buttons, or stuffed animal eyeballs, and they snap on the inside. Something like that would be more appropriate. But for an older child who is not going to eat the buttons off, you're okay. So I went through my button about 3 or 4 times. Now I'm going to take the end of it, twist it around, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to tie it off. Just go through the loop. That's how I tie it off. Okay, so there is my first eyeball. Now I'm going to do the second one. Just do the exact same thing. I should be able to use the exact same thread, although it might get a little bit smaller as we go along, but that's all right. Oops. Try that again here. This project is really fun. My 6-year-old, I guess he was 5 last year, helped make these for a couple of his cousins, and he was so proud of himself. And he literally sat there and stuffed these snakes for, 30 minutes. It took a while. But he loved it, and he was so proud on Christmas when he got to give them to him, and they seemed to like them as well. But I think it was just the joy of knowing that he made them himself, and there's something to be said for handmade gifts. Okay, we're going to go through one more time, and now we're going to make the shank. So we're going to go around the eye a couple of times, and we're going to go back through, go through the loop we just made, and tie it off here. My thread got a little too small. Just gonna take it off there. All right. There's our eyeballs on our cute little snake. See how cute that is? Where's my other one? Let me see. There he is. So you could do different sizes of snakes. For different ages, you can do different colors. Anyway, they're super cute, super fast and easy. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll see you next time.